All right? This is where we need to separate fact from fiction. That portrait of a madman? It was painted by his enemies, remember? Suetonius, an imperial secretary, and Cassius Dio, a senator, were elite historians writing long after Caligula was dead, both hostile to him and his treatment of Rome's ruling class. So, let's look at the actual charges. First, all that sexual depravity and incest. It makes for a great story, but contemporary critics of Caligula, like Philo and Seneca, never mention it. It's almost certainly slander, a classic Roman political smear tactic. Accuse your enemy of sexual deviance, and you paint their whole reign as corrupt. So, what about the horse, Incitatus? Did he really try to make his horse a consul? Almost no modern historian thinks this was madness. It was a joke. A deeply insulting, satirical joke aimed right at the Senate. He was essentially saying, "You're all so useless. My horse could do your job." It wasn't insanity. It was political theater of the darkest kind. Now, his demand to be worshipped as a god? That part seems to be true. But it might have been less about delusion and more about raw power. By making himself a god, he was trying to create an absolute monarchy, like the kings in the East, and ditch the idea that the emperor was just a first citizen. It was a terrifying power grab for the Roman elite. So, while the wildest stories were probably propaganda, his cruelty was very real. He did execute rivals. He did rule with an iron fist. The real question isn't was he cruel? He was. The real debate, and one that historians still discuss today, is whether he was clinically insane or simply a ruthless autocrat whose enemies twisted his actions into the caricature of madness we know today.